doing this too, man. It's awesome.
I know.
All right, awesome. Okay, all right, we are live. So, all right, hello everybody, hello world, welcome back. Welcome back to another partner spotlight today. And today we have Gabe Elias with us, 2X founder, at least that I know of. There's probably some more in there that I don't know of, but founder of EVM Home Improvement and Elias Consulting. So he's been there, he's done that. You know, he knows it, he's gone through it. So a lot of good nuggets being dropped today. So, Gabe, how you doing, man?
I'm good, my man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining. So, yeah, thanks for joining, spending some time with us here today and everything like that. But, man, as always, guys, you kind of know if you're watching, you know how these go, how I kind of start them off. So, let's hear from Gabe, right? Like, let's hear his story. So, Gabe, like, walk us through. Obviously, you know, at some point in life, you said, "Man, I'm gonna start a contractor, a home service business," right? Like,
Absolutely.
what prompted that? Where'd that come from? What was that like? And kind of that journey along the way, man. Like, enlighten us. I'm sure there's some people going through the same thing that you've went through in that process, and they'd love to learn from what you did.
For sure. Yeah. So I started off in college. Going into college, I was 21 years old. Always had an entrepreneurship mindset. I mean, even in high school, you know, my first business ever was like personal training in high school. Made my like first 10K month. Didn't do it consistently, just one time done. But I was like, yo, this is awesome, right? So always had that entrepreneurship mindset. And then college rolled around. You know, I'm one of the student painter guys here from Massachusetts. I know, you know, there's student painters, college works, whatever. There's a bunch of different programs. But yeah, so I was recruited with them, college internship. I was 20 years old at the time. Didn't really think much of it. You know, got an email, a little cold call recruiting email, and I read it. It, you know, got my interest. It was like our average intern makes $5K in the summer. At the time, I'm like, yo, I want to make $5K.
Like,
you know,
money, let's go.
Yeah, and fast forward that summer, I actually made $40K as a 20-year-old. So I did student painters, right? College internship. They help you run your own exterior painting business. It was exterior only. My first year, I was able to, you know, market, sell, recruit painters, recruit door knockers, and fulfill all the work, you know, that for the whole summer. Started around springtime. That's when we started marketing. And then in the summer, that's when we really produced, when the weather got better. You know, I'm from New England, so a lot of snow, cold weather. But that first year, rookie year, again, didn't really know what I was getting into, but I kind of balled out. I did well. That year we did about $200,000 in revenue. Ended up selling like $400,000, couldn't produce it all. So kind of distributed it to the other interns, you know, the managers kind of took care of that. Set an all-time sales record for the company. It's a 37-year-old company. Broke some, you know, some records. I have a couple of newspaper articles, podcast episode with the CEO. I was flown out to Michigan to see the headquarters. I mean, it was awesome, right? Did that my first year. Second year was recruited back and you know, promoted to be an executive regional manager, where I oversaw 6 other rookies under me, all 6 of my friends that I personally knew. I actually recruited, you know, 75% of the training room, and it was the biggest room in New England history for student painters. So recruited a bunch of my friends. They saw what I did that first year. And that year collectively, myself and 4 other executives around my age in college, are, you know, second, third year guys. We did about 4.2 million that year. Also broke a New England record, and we won, you know, division of the year. So after that, I was like, all right, I've done this for 2 years. What's next? You know, still had another year and a half of college. But that experience made me realize there's no shot I'm working for someone else ever again. You know, it made me fall in love with business. It made me realize what I was capable of doing. You know, made me realize I was good at sales. I was good at marketing. I was good at the fundamentals of business, you know, even being super young. So ran with what I learned, and that's when I launched EVM. So it was EVM painting. So we have EVM home improvement and EVM painting, 2 different entities, 2 different divisions, but we just call it, you know, EVM. So started off with painting, and, you know, added interior painting, which was a little learning curve, cabinet refinish, you know, definitely had a lot of learning curves and learning experiences for sure year one. And even when I was with student painters, you know, you learn the hard way.
Yeah.
But it was great. I mean, we made a lot of noise, got really involved with like, community service and giving back to our town, giving back to the sports teams, donating, doing sponsorships. And fast forward, now we're in year 4. So this is year 4. So still fairly, new. I'm 25 years old. This past year, year 3, so this last year, we launched our own construction home improvement division. My business partner, LJ, and I, we both got our general contractor's license, our CSL as well. So now we can do construction, we can do remodeling. We still have the painting division on the side too. So trying to scale both of them, but same brand, same umbrella. So it works out perfect. And now we're in year 4, really just trying to continue to grow and scale. We're a multi 7-figure business, trying to really focus on profit this year, just clean up some profit, some net profit, and put some more money in our personal pockets. We had a lot of investments last year, bought a commercial building to turn into our headquarters, got another, acquired another office, acquired a construction business out of Boston, which happened to be my uncle's. Hired a full-time assistant. So like from year 2 to year 3, it was like skyrocket. So a lot of learning curves there too, scaling too fast, cash flow problems, you live and you learn. But I love it, man. I love the game. I'm blessed to do what I love. And I'm hungry every day to keep going at it, and then in terms of, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And then, as you mentioned Elias Consulting as well. That's another business that I launched last year. It's really like only about half a year old. And basically I'm just consulting and helping other service-based businesses either start or grow. I specialize with, startups, people that, might not even know what service they want to start. I have clients that have a name or have an idea of a business name. They know they want to get into painting or HVAC, and that's it, right? So I help them with creating the logo, creating the name, registering the business, right? Creating the entity, insurance, liability, all that good stuff. And then, marketing, et cetera. So all of my clients are in different areas, right? I have those startup clients. I have some clients that are already doing, 6-figure revenue a year, and they're trying to get to that 7-figure mark. And then I have a couple clients that are doing, just hit 7 figures, and they're trying to get to that, multiple 7-figure range of, 3 to 7 million. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I like the startup focus. I like to help people that have a goal but just don't know what to do with it.
Right.
And, it's very fulfilling for me. So that's kind of where I'm at. I got a lot of things going on. I do some social media on the side. Really into fitness. I definitely spread myself too thin, but I love it.
That's awesome. It's awesome. Well, you're talking about, the entrepreneurial mindset, right? I mean, that it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because, you want to go, and you see an idea or you see a thought and you want to execute on it, right? But then classic problem of just getting spread too thin and then I can't do all this even though I want to.
90 object syndrome, all that stuff,
Yeah. So let's like peel that onion back a little bit, man, because that was a lot, right? Like you've done a bunch of stuff there. That was a lot, right? So first, like student painters, right? Like probably there's a good chance a lot of people don't know what student painters is. Like describe that just a little bit. Kind of start there. So
it's essentially a franchise. I mean, it's a college internship. They hire college students that want to be interns, paid. Right. They provide you with unlimited marketing materials, like flyers, door hangers. They give you some free door knocking hours, as in like they'll pay for the labor for some door knockers. You're assigned a mentor, right? Who's also in college, but maybe they're in year 2 or year 3. They've done it and they succeeded. And you get, very hands-on training. They're really there for you throughout the whole process. You're going to fail, you're going to succeed. It's part of the process, but it's very cool. I mean, I'd say it was life-changing for me. Again, it made me realize I'm an entrepreneur and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And it was easily the hardest thing I've ever done and the most satisfying thing I've ever done. I mean, 20 years old, 21 years old, I mean, I tell people all the time when I started, I didn't even know what like a fascia board was or what, I didn't even know how to hold a paintbrush, So, and I was able to run like a $300,000 business that first year, so, the program works, and it's all college students, and yeah, they kind of help you throughout the whole process with like first putting out your name there, the trainings, and then marketing, putting out door hangers, flyers, doing some cold calling on your own, hiring a door knocking team, then eventually recruit, start getting some leads, scheduling estimates, selling on the spot,
Yeah.
doing the whole sales presentation, selling, stacking up jobs for when weather gets nice, right? Or
Yeah.
summertime comes, that's when you produce. And so in between that time frame, you also start recruiting for painters, right? And it's all college kids. So it's a
Yeah.
bunch of just college kids. So
Yeah.
it was a great experience
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. What a
Yeah.
solid program too, right? Like so
It's
many things.
crazy.
Yeah, right. Like that's crazy. It's like so many things you just said there,
Yeah.
like people that have been running businesses for multiple years they're probably still learning, right?
Absolutely.
Those core fundamentals.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So one thing you said kind of earlier, at the beginning was you're talking about the mindset, right? Like,
Yeah.
There's a lot of mindset people out there, right? Shout out to Joel, right? If he's listening or watching or eventually watches this. There's a lot of mindset. Like, how important is that really? Right? Like,
yeah, it's very important. I mean, it's all about discipline at the end of the day, right? Mindset as well. They go hand in hand, and then you can kind of, you could bring in motivation, but at the end of the day, motivation is not gonna bring you too far, right? I
Yeah.
wasn't motivated today and I still got things done. I'm still here, right? I'm tired. I don't really feel like going to the gym after this, but I'm going
Yeah.
straight to the gym.
Yeah.
It's all discipline, right? It's muscle
Yeah.
memory. So that's where the mindset plays in, is just understanding, look, you are responsible in terms of where you want to get in life, right? The ball, it's the ball is in your court, your side of the court, and what you put in is what you're going to get out. So you got to have that mindset of, staying disciplined, staying hard, knowing that
Yep.
you got to do hard things to gain big things, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy. I think the biggest thing is the mindset and the aspect of like fall in love with the process, right?
Mhm.
Everyone wants to get rich quick. That's just
Yep.
it's just not how it works,
Yep.
And maybe if you win the lottery, but
Yeah.
you gotta learn to enjoy the process, love what you do, love your craft, and if you can do that, your mindset's going to be to the point where you just love what you're doing. It just becomes natural, becomes second nature. You get to
Yep.
the point when you're not working hard, you feel weird about yourself because you're like,
Yeah.
hold on, that's not me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, mindset's huge. You got all these guys online, but I don't like to fall in the trap of there's a lot of gurus out there that's like, go hard and this and that, and it's cool. It's good to listen to some motivational music or
Sure.
motivational videos, but at the end of the day, you got to have that in your heart. You got to have that
Yeah.
want for yourself.
Yeah.
Motivation will only take you so far.
Yeah.
But of course, very important to have a solid mindset, and even more important to have a plan, right? A goal and a plan, because a goal without a plan is just a dream, right? Denzel Washington says that. So,
Yes. Love it.
yeah, that's
Love it.
my opinion on that.
I love it. Love it, man. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. I love that, man. Yeah. And I'm glad you threw that quote out there too. Cause, yeah, I mean, I tell people all the time, I'm like, hey, like, consistency and what consistency will always win, right? Day over day, like staying in the grind, keep going, but also too, some things are just lifestyle choices, right?
Oh yeah.
Like you can't just do things for a pop or a season. Like if you want that long-term gain and the long-term big win,
Yeah.
you got to it's got to be a lifestyle change, right? So 100%. Yeah. Mark Cuban, I think it was, I was listening to a podcast or something, or listening to him talk. And I think his quote was, "You got to love the dirt, right? Like you got to love the dirt because you're going to be in it, and you got to get down in there, and you just got to get it done, and you got to love the dirt."
And that's why entrepreneurship is not meant for everyone. If it was, everyone would be rich and working for themselves, in their own time, and it's not meant for everyone.
Yeah. 100%. Now, so when you started, let's talk about kind of your business structure a little bit, right? Because like I think that's awesome, right? Like you've got these kind of two entities going, kind of under one umbrella. Like I'm sure there's a lot of people that have curiosities or wondering like, man, how should I set up my business? How should I, how did you kind of decide like, okay, we're going to start with the painting, then we're going to go to the home improvement, and then we're going to buy this other company, then we're going to do this. Like, how'd you get, Yeah, like break that down a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
how'd you set that up? And
Yeah, I think it just all fell together, quite frankly. I mean, we started off with painting and, started making a lot of noise, doing a lot of marketing, Facebook groups, ads, lawn signs everywhere. People started to be like, EVM, EVM, EVM's everywhere. Gabe and LJ, like everyone in our local town, right?
yeah,
And eventually the customers hire us, right? And they'll ask, they're like, oh, let's say we're doing a deck staining job. Oh, can you guys repair these rotted carpentry boards, right?
yeah.
Of course. Yeah, we can, right? Or do you guys do power washing, or do you guys do basements, right? Just started saying yes, even though we didn't. And again, that's how you find out. I saw a funny video, a little inappropriate, but I'll have to send the link after. But it's like it's like how did I learn to build a house, right?
Yeah.
And then it turns into a meme of this older guy with a graph, and it's like you F around and you find out. If you don't F around, you never find out.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So eventually it got to the point where we started getting a lot of demand for home improvement, construction, and quite frankly, we didn't know how to do it. So I'm fortunate that I have my father, who's always been in construction his whole life. More of he's always been like a handyman, has had his own business, like kind of like a one-man show, sometimes have a helper or two, right?
Yeah.
But he'll build you a house from scratch, so he can do anything.
Awesome.
So we started incorporating him because we were like, hey, this customer wants to remodel their kitchen. We don't know how to do it. You want to give us a price and you'll do the work.
Yeah.
And then long story short, it just got to the point now where my dad works with me, full time.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
kind of handles and manages. He's the man behind the scenes in the home improvement and construction division.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it came about. And then in terms of how I structured it, it was like, first it was just all under EVM painting.
Yeah.
And then, it started really growing and scaling, and I was like, all right, I want it to be separate, so we have freaking 3 different DripJobs accounts because of the construction business that we acquired. But that's going to eventually merge into EVM, hopefully like literally tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah.
But besides the point, I figured, let's make 2 separate entities, 2 different, tax returns, different metrics for both. At the end of the day, you got to do that once it really scales up. So now we're doing, multiple 7 figures for both, which is it's very exciting. And yeah, for home improvement, we do more of a employment, a W-2 background, right? So we have some laborers that when we need assistance with, they'll help my father. But with painting, we are strictly subcontracting model.
Gotcha. Yeah.
First 2 years we were W-2. We had at one point 15 full-time painters on W-2, and
dang, okay.
It was good. There's pros and cons to both, but actually after the PCA last year, we were like, yo, screw that. We're just going to go strictly subcontracting. We haven't looked back, at least for painting,
Yeah. Okay.
But that's how it kind of went about. And I was just like, I'm not going to create like a new name for construction or for home improvement. Like we already have a brand,
right?
The best way to do it is just keep it EVM. That's the umbrella.
Yeah.
We have a painting division, we have a home improvement division. So I made those 2 divisions once home improvement started, stacking up and getting busy. And then I started creating different social medias, different everything, so that it's like, 2 little entities.
Gotcha.
But that's a great question.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, because people always are curious, like, well, how do I set this up? How do I? So kind of a pro tip, right? Let's say somebody's literally just starting and they're like, okay, like I've been doing jobs, I'm making money.
Yeah.
I need to turn this into like a legit entity via the government, What do you have something like, I don't know, like Zen Business or LegalZoom or, like do you have something that for somebody who's like, man, I need to start an LLC or
absolutely. Yeah. And that's what we really, that's what we really specialize into. A lot of my clients are from Massachusetts, but I've had some clients from Michigan. I've had some from Florida. So every state's a little different in terms of like how to set up, the business, but it's generally the same thing. You hop on the Secretary of State website and you file the business. For someone who's never done it, it can be very overwhelming, right? And you don't want to put in the wrong things. I've done it so many times now that it's pretty automatic. But yeah, we have different softwares and different websites that we use that just help with the whole startup process in terms of, creating the name, creating the logo, getting it registered. I all of my clients get my direct access to my vetted network in terms of insurance, liability, even as far as to door-to-door marketers, virtual assistants, etc.
Nice.
So
Cool.
and I think that's probably my favorite part of helping them is the initial 3 to 6 months of the business. It's just I love to build and create. I like building something, a brand from scratch, and just seeing it grow. It's very fulfilling to me. So being able to do that, being able to help other people do that is it's the coolest thing.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I mean the building phase is always fun, right? Getting everything up off the ground and seeing it happen in front of you is always really fun there. So, let's switch gears a little bit, and I always got to talk about this with anybody I have on here. Physical fitness stuff, right? You mentioned going to the gym, working out. I'm not a big guy by any means, but I'm a runner. I love to run. I love to do core stuff, and just good workout, right? And that's part of kind of my sort of 3 core pillars that I kind of follow in general life, a strong body, right? Because that plays so much into strong mind and
100%.
all that kind of stuff. So for somebody who's like, nah, I don't need that. I don't need it. How has that element played into your success thus far? Because somebody would say, yeah, Gabe's successful. He's got multiple businesses. He's doing this. He's doing this. I'm guessing an element of that is your physical fitness as well too.
100%. I mean, I love that. Fortunately, me, I grew up playing sports. I always grew up. I started working out in 6th grade. Not that I was doing it right, but started really early. Training for football, etc. Fell in love with that, and once my football career came to an end, I devoted all my free time into just working out and getting big. So it's always been a part of my life, but 100%, that definitely, there's definitely a domino effect with working your body and your mind in terms of your career path or your business, right? 100%. If you look at generally speaking, all the, successful entrepreneurs out there, they take care of their health, right? They take care of their bodies. And, I'm a Christian man, and, I believe that our bodies are temples, right? Given by God, and it's important to take care of them, right? As well as your business, right? You're supposed to work hard, right? You're supposed to be laborious. You're supposed to work hard to reap those benefits. So, I definitely recommend it. It's definitely important, and just for longevity. I mean, you can be a multi-millionaire, but weigh 400 pounds. That's not really cool, man. Why not be a multi-millionaire and be jacked? Let's be real. That's way more. Or even if you're just not even a millionaire, but you're successful and you're jacked, that's still more. That's just my honest opinion. And nothing against people that are overweight, but it's just the truth. But yeah, I've done fitness my whole life, and I still do. Go to the gym 5 days a week. I sauna it up every day. I cold plunge, diet. Right now I'm bulking, so pushing 200 pounds right now. I'm 5'10", so I'm a little heavy right now for the PCA. Face is a little chubby, but gonna be cutting down pretty soon. Probably gonna plan on dropping 30 pounds of fat in the next 6-7 months. So it'll be I'm not looking forward to that, but no, I think it plays a huge role. It's important to take care of your body and be physically fit. And I think it's how you carry yourself, right? If you're working hard in the gym, the gym among pretty much above everything, it's if you work out consistently, you're going to get in shape, right? So if you're consistent and you're super disciplined in the gym, your diet, your health, you're going to see those long-term effects, and you're going to see it quickly, right? You're going to see your body change quickly. So I think if you're doing that, there's no reason why you can't be doing that for your business, and vice versa. I think they really play a similar role for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I believe that everything's been kind of given to us, and we've been blessed with a lot of stuff, and you're called to be a good steward of that, 100%. And that's your family, your business, your kids, your body, everything like that, the influence that you have on people, right? You're all called to steward those things well.
Oh yeah.
you know, as part of life. So let's talk about leadership real quick, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've mentioned several times, whether it's from student painting, right? They had you
Yeah.
back, that you were leading the team, you set records there, you obviously lead multiple businesses, people look up to you in your consulting, you lead them through the rigors of starting up their own business when
Yeah.
people are like, really, it's a really scary thing if you've never done it before, right? So,
Yeah.
um, you know, man, like how do you deal with like the weight and pressure and stress that come with that? Cause like,
Yeah.
you know, being a leader, there's a lot on your shoulders, right? A lot of people
There
look up,
is.
you say the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing, the ripple effect is large.
It
You,
is.
you know, you
Yeah.
got people relying on you to feed their families, you know?
Yeah. No, that's the best way to put it. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of pressure. Pressure makes diamonds, so that's always a good way to look at it. But I think for me, I was born, I'm first generation, I'm the oldest child.
Mm,
I wasn't, my family didn't come from money. I never came from money,
yeah.
My parents always worked hard. They came from Brazil and created a life here. They came from Brazil at 20, 21 years old with $0 to their name,
Yeah.
right? Work jobs that were paying them $8 an hour at the time.
Yeah.
And were able to give me and my siblings our dream life, So I think growing up, me seeing that, I think I've always embodied that leadership role and that hard work ethic and discipline and just kind of those morals, which I'm fortunate for. I was raised well, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, and then, that plays along with sports growing up in high school, being team captain, etc. So leadership has always been something that's just been a part of me. I want to say, naturally,
Mhm.
which I'm fortunate for. But yeah, as you scale, there's more and more pressure and stress for sure. Because like you said, you got 20 staff or 30 or 40 or 50. Some companies have hundreds, and it's like if you're the CEO or you're the owner, at the end of the day, you're calling the shots, and if you're not calling the right things, they're not going to be able to feed their families, right? Like you said it best. And
Mhm.
they can quit in a second and find someone else, right? Find a different job. So there's
Yeah.
definitely a lot of pressure that comes with that. I think the biggest thing is I think, trusting in God. And the second thing is making sure is, you're working hard, you're doing your due diligence. But I think having a good team is crucial, right? I
Mm.
have a great office staff. I have a great business partner. We have great employees, great workers, great subcontractors. And so that's huge. I mean, it's life changing when you have, a good staff and a good team behind you. That makes your life 100 times easier, as a
Mhm.
business owner.
Mhm.
But it's not easy to get there, right? You gotta recruit and hire the right people. But not only that, you need to have systems and SOPs in place for trainings. You could have like the best talent in the world, but if they don't have a structure, they're not going to know what to do, and they're not the business owner, so they don't really have an incentive to do what they don't need to do, right?
Yeah.
So I think having a right team um, is huge. I mean, that's huge. Whether it's laborers, whether it's admin staff, whether it's finance and accountant, regardless, anyone that works with you. I don't like
Mhm.
to say for you. Anyone that works with you on your team. It's important that you truly train them and you're a good leader. And I think that everything will come back in its favor for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that's when you go into the whole team culture and building a good team culture, incentivizing your team, making it a fun experience, making it a family rather than just a working relationship.
Mhm.
People have their own opinions to that, but I think that plays a huge role, is that culture in your business for sure.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So when you know, obviously you've probably, you know, you've had to hire multiple kind of leaders underneath you as well as your business has grown. So like, you know, what advice do you have for somebody like they're growing, maybe they're getting, you know, healthy six figures, maybe they're getting close to, you know, seven figures and
Yeah.
they're just drowning, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
they need their right hand, right? They need their
Yeah.
left hand too, right? But
Yeah.
how do you go about and what do you look for when you're finding that person, right? That
Yeah.
should,
I
you
mean,
know,
off the top of my mind, the first thing you got to do is you got to do a time audit of your time, right? Dan Martell has a great book. It's called Buy Back Your Time.
yep,
Highly recommend every entrepreneur to
yep.
anyone actually to read that book,
Like say
right?
anyone. Yeah.
And it's just gonna really show you how much time you actually have in your hand,
Yeah.
right? It's easy to be like, oh, I have no time, I can't go to the gym, but you're just not managing your time well
Yeah.
enough, and you're also not delegating as well as you should be.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding out how much do you think you're worth per hour, and
Yeah.
it's all about finding A task problems, B task problems, C task problems. At the end of the day, as a CEO, you should be working on things that are going to move your business forward.
Mhm.
There's no reason for you to, depending on the scale that you're at, there's no reason for you to uh, necessarily be door knocking, right?
Yeah.
Or
Right.
putting out lawn signs for 4 hours around the neighborhood, like, right? So I think the biggest thing is learning how to manage your time. Read that book, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. And then I
Mhm.
think, hiring an assistant is just huge. That's been life changing for me.
Okay.
And, if you don't have the cash flow for it, hire a virtual assistant. Literally,
Yeah.
you can hire a VA, $3, $4, $5 an hour. They will literally take care of you. It's still important to train them. Of course, you got to train them.
Mhm.
They're still an assistant, right? They're
Yeah.
still an employee.
Yep.
But there's really no excuse. If you start to feel that pressure, you feel like you don't have time to do things, do a time audit of your
Mhm.
life, right? What you do in a daily day-to-day basis, Monday through Sunday.
Yep.
See what are things you can delegate, see what things are important that you need to do,
Yep.
things that you don't necessarily need to do, and other people can do that for you. And then make that initial investment of hiring someone to help you do those things.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. When somebody time audits themselves, right, from the
Yeah.
moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed, there's a big realization in there of like, wow, I don't delegate enough. I waste a lot of time doing this. If I cut this out, I could do this. If I,
Yeah.
all those kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. No, it's a great book too. Buy Back Your Time, Dan
Yeah.
Martell, like, solid,
Yeah.
solid book.
Good book.
For sure, for sure. So, let's talk about your consulting company, right? So,
Yep.
there's probably a bit of this baked into that as well too, right?
Yep.
But let's kind of talk about what, if somebody, here, I'll put a link in the channel or
Yeah.
quick. But let's talk about if somebody, wants to get a hold of you guys. I threw a link in there, in the thread.
Absolutely.
So, let's talk about what that would look like and
Yeah.
kind of some of the things you mentioned it earlier, but kind of some of the things you're going to cover in there that you could potentially help them out with.
Absolutely.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can find me on social media. Search up Gabe Elias and it'll pop up. But, I like to always do an initial meeting, right? If someone is interested in my services, they can, click on the link, set up a meeting. And then from there, you can, sorry, I'm having some people just walked into the house, but
Oh, you're good.
you can click the link, schedule a Zoom meeting with me, and it'll just be an initial free call, right? We'll go over who you are, your business, what you do. You might not even have a business yet. You might just want to start one. So everyone's in
Yeah.
a different position, right? So that's kind of an initial info call of me getting to know you more, seeing what your goals are, and then, asking some questions so I can learn more and more about you. And then after that, the second half of the meeting, I kind of go over Elias Consulting, everything we offer, everything that we
Mhm.
provide from, the coaching structure, from our deliverables, from communication and access to me,
Yep.
timeline, a roadmap, the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
And again, that all changes depending on, the level of your business and where you're at. So again, I have people who just come in with an idea. They're like, "Hey, Gabe, I want to start a landscaping business." Like, that's it. They might not even have a
That's
name.
it. Yeah.
That's really it. They're like, "I want to start a landscaping business." You know, but then there's some people that come in and they're like, "Hey, I work a full-time job and I've been doing landscaping on the side. And last year we did 200K in revenue, but I want to quit my full-time job and do
Yeah.
landscaping full-time." I have some clients that come in that have full-time businesses, might be a, electrician, does electrician on his own, has a laborer or two,
Mhm.
maybe doing 500,000 or already doing 1 million in revenue. And they just want to take it to that next level. I
Yeah.
have a lot of people that come in specifically for marketing and branding. I think that's
Yeah.
a big strength of mine is
Mhm.
I like to say that I'm good at making noise
Yeah.
and just putting things out there.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, a lot of people come in, just for more help on marketing, branding, social media,
Yeah.
just generating more leads. But
Yeah.
all in all, we do consulting. I'm not a marketing agency. I'm not a Facebook ad agency.
Yeah.
This isn't a cookie cutter course where buy my course, right? It's
Yeah.
consulting, and whatever you need, I'm going to be there to help deliver that, to you and with you, and I work directly with you as well.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, I love the execution part of that, right? Of like, hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna get into it, and then we're gonna do it.
Exactly. And one of the probably one of the biggest pros of my consulting business is the done for you systems that we have. We have a lot of done for you systems in the consulting where you get hundreds and hundreds of already done for you SOPs, templates, marketing materials, ads where you just copy and paste, or you just change the logo and the business name. Employee packages, employee training SOPs, you name it, so that's a big thing. I think that people love working with me is the fact that, like, I don't just coach and tell them to do things. We have a team behind the scenes that will already most likely have these things that you need created. And if not, we'll create it for you, or at least with you.
Yeah.
Love
it. Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. Good stuff. Nina, good to see you again. Nina's usually watching with us here, but she had a random question. I'm just going to throw it out to you. She asked, have you ever thought of franchising? She asked that earlier, but just now.
That's a great question. That is a good question. I don't know yet. My goals, again, right? Shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
I'm 25. My goals change every day, the beginning when I first started EVM, I was like, I'm never going to sell this thing. I'm going to grow it and scale it. I want to create franchises in different states, right? I want to go to Florida. I want to go to the Carolinas, this, that. I want to have hundreds of vans, right?
Yeah.
All fully wrapped, brick and mortar. And quite frankly, now my mindset has kind of changed a little bit. I've been kind of leaning towards more of an exit plan, down the road. And I think that's just because I love to create, so even if I exited, who's to say I don't just start another different painting, Elias painting, restart it, So right now, no to franchise, but it depends on what the opportunity is, and also depends where we go in the next couple of years, but we're still in year 4, still got a lot of strides to make. I want to do a lot. I want to be doing, 10 million in revenue for just painting alone, and then 10 million in the construction division alone. We got ways to go to get that, but maybe once I hit those milestones, I'll be like, all right, maybe we'll franchise it up, but we'll see. It's a great question though.
Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah. Well, and you got to have the goals too, right? Like, man, like I think everybody should have their own goals, whether it's personal, work, your own business, whatever it is. You got to have something you're going for, right? Otherwise, the ship's just sailing towards the horizon with no destination in mind, so, and that's not good for anybody. So this was kind of a bit of an open-ended question, but we are at the beginning of 2026, right? So, what do you see, what would you recommend people to kind of be on the lookout for 2026, right? Like, they started their business, or they're ramping up for the year. Like, what's 2026 going to hold for the home services industry that maybe you're seeing, or a trend you're seeing, or something like that?
That's a great question. It's 100% going to be AI. Utilizing AI to automate your business, to buy back your time, right? And to literally assist you with any tasks. I mean, AI is insane right now. There's so many resources and softwares out there that people just don't even know exists. There's literally AI for everything. So I would say AI is huge. There's people that just they don't even know what ChatGPT is. As simple as that. So I would say learn more about AI. Don't get left, behind in the dark, because in the near future there may be robots, and there may be businesses going out of businesses, but home service isn't going anywhere, right? Unless Elon Musk comes out with like a robot 30-30. And it starts building houses or painting, but it's just not gonna. So we're in a good spot. But AI is definitely that next innovation for sure. That's gonna just change the world, I think. And so especially if you're, younger or if you're just, a startup right now. I think learning AI, learn ChatGPT, pay for the max subscription of it, use it every day, learn how to optimize it, and look into automations. I think that's the biggest thing, just AI in general. And then the second thing I would say is just having a great CRM like DripJobs, right? Use my code Elias60, baby, get 2 months off for free.
There you go.
But on a serious note, though, I mean, it's life changing. What's funny is we started DripJobs last year at the PCA as well. Before that, we were using GHL, Go High Level, which was just too much. You got to edit everything. Like, we didn't even know DripJobs existed. And DripJobs was exactly what we were trying to create on Go High Level, paying some software dude like $5,000 to do it. So, and then before that we used PandaDoc, right? So you live and you learn. But I think having a good CRM, and not just a good CRM, but a CRM that actually specializes in your niche, your area, I think that is huge. And as simple as that is, at the end of the day, most contractors, right, not to be stereotypical, they're older. They're older guys in their 40s, 50s, 60s. They're older, old fashioned, like my father. A lot of the guys show up to estimates late. A lot of the guys will send you a proposal when it's really a little paragraph invoice 2 weeks later, right? So now is the time to implement these automations, AI, these softwares, all these things that really excel your customer service, because it's just going to separate you dramatically from your competition. And that's what I would say for 2026 for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Yeah, the people who are going to pull ahead in the race and who are gonna ride the wave to extreme success are going to be the ones that learn how to work the system, learn how to use it, realize it's a tool to do everything better and more efficient. Not to replace you, like you said, not to replace you, but a tool to do everything better and more efficient. So awesome, man. Awesome. Well, you said something about PCA earlier. You're gonna be at Expo
100%.
next week?
Yes, sir. Okay. I'm excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm excited to meet new people, connect with, the regulars as well, and just and learn, learn more and more, and get fired up, come back and be like, damn, we gotta revamp the whole business.
We got work to do. We're sleeping. Love it, man. Okay. Awesome. Well, Gabe, man, that's it. That's all I got for us today. I appreciate you hanging with me for a bit. Got such good stuff. Loved hearing about it. Loved hearing about your journey. Really good stuff in there. Congrats on the success so far, man.
Appreciate it.
You're crushing it 4 years in and just like getting after it. So love that. And man, we'll see you next week. I'll be there too.
All right, Eli. I'll see you next week, my man. Thank you. Take care, guys.
See ya.